Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So, I've been pretty sick for the last few days, but anyway, I have an update on my Shield Crush, sorry, not Shield Crush, Shield Charge Zerker, or General's Cry Zerker. So, I have been playing this one and leveling it up. I have managed to get its DPS up to just shy of 2 million DPS, and I've got a new tree here. There'll be a new tree in the description, but I'll talk through some of the changes that I've made in this build and what that has actually cost me. So, from the last time, we definitely have a better, as you can see, cast cooldown on General's Cry. The way that I've done that is now I have my Crown of the Inward Eye with a 30% increased cooldown recovery rate enchant. So the way that you get this, generally you buy it on the market. You can farm Uberlab. Unfortunately, I got this for pretty cheap, but these are selling for anywhere up to 3x. Very niche item. Probably easier to chance than Uberlab at the moment, but entirely up to you how you want to go with it. Just twice enchant and then run Uberlab over and over again until you hopefully get it. Chest piece, now a decent chest piece. This was about 100 chaos at the time. So pretty much just a whole heap of health, any other resistances that I needed to get. This is an update on the last chest piece, which was pretty craptastic. And then yeah, that's and just good base armor. So rings, we now have vulnerability on hit. So this ring is pretty much going to take me all the way through. Can probably change this a little bit, but I'm probably not going to do that or not go any further with this ring. This ring is still garbage, but it first focuses on ore resist. I'm likely going to get a ring that gives me a shitload of health. So that'll be one of the future upgrades that I make on this build. Amulet, for right now, this amulet works. I'm probably going to go with a pride reservation and +1 of physical skill gems when I get more currency up. But basically, this is covering off on all resistances, dexterity, and because gladiatorial combat no longer exists, I've actually enchanted or anointed adamant onto this build. So that basically means whenever your guard skills pop, it removes corrupted blood and it removes bleeding, and you get 25% increased uptime. So that's why leveling this build is incredibly easy, even without a Christian's Carpus and crab barriers. So yeah, a good thing to look at getting is sort of adamant on your anoint. It doesn't increase your damage, but it's going to increase your survivability significantly. I am still running the Dark Seer. I am actually going to get a second Dark Seer and see if I can crangle it. Shield. This league in particular, very hard to find good shields because SST is not a common, is not a go-to meta build this league. So right now I'm just shy of 2200 armor. The more you go up in this area, the more expensive it does get. In particular, now that there's not a lot of people crafting crazy ass shields, though we're only like a week and I think 1 day into the new league. So, you know, this is that new league where we're at 2 million DPS with General's Cry at the almost start of the new league. So my expectations are way higher than what they should be, considering, you know, I only play this game pretty much part-time. So belt-wise, I am crafting an Elder belt. I got an Elder leather belt that I'm working on. You could get a Bear's Girdle if you can afford it, but they're like 3x. That's going to increase your rage and increase your DPS. However, I would go either a Hunter's leather belt or a Elder leather belt, and then basically get a percentage life roll, ideally 10 to 12%. In my case, I've got 91 life regen per second. Oh, pardon me, and a good base life roll. So really good belt. This doesn't have any resistances on it. This belt could be way better, but for what it's doing right now, it's getting me up to 5500 life, which is really good. No change to Corpse Walkers, but I do have an enchanted spell suppression on them now, so that's a big change in the right direction. And my South Swing gloves, I am using South Swings because if you have a look at the implicit, it reduces your attack damage with your Dark Seer, but increases the attack damage with your offhand by 50% in this case. Now, Trigger Commandment on Fury, Commandment of Fury on hit is pointless, but you know, we'll probably change that out eventually. But as an overall, this is a really good set of gloves. The only thing that I could go further on here would be to get a set of gloves that would give me culling on hit, and that would then have culling strike for my shield charge. What are we, Mirage Warriors? So yeah. Flask wise, Quicksilver Flask, Lion's Roar, always always crafted up to increase duration, so you get 12 seconds of Lion's Roar. I still only have a Corrupted Blood, Sulfur Flask, Blood of the Karui, pardon me, and also another Granite Flask with immunity to Corrupted Blood. Pretty much just Corrupted Blood is the root of all evil when it comes to this build. Now, looking at the tree itself, no major changes to the tree outside of the cluster jewels. So I have second clustered with another force multiplier and Ironbreaker 9 passive. I now have all the right small medium cluster jewels, so Rattling Bellow, Horning Shout, Lead by Example and Rattling Bellow, and also Warning Call, Rattling Bellow, and Cry Wolf, Rattling Bellow. So this is basically amping up my armor, causing Intimidate. I now have 20% increased total power from Warcries, so when I first start Warcrying, I have a lot more base power, so I'm spawning more Mirage Warriors as I Warcry around. Now the jewels that you want to go for in the tree, really simply, just life percentage, any resistances, and attack damage or physical damage. In this case, I don't have that on there. I do have it on here. 7% life and 13% increased attack damage while holding a shield. Now, I did get a really cheap Watcher's Eye as well. In particular, the reason why I wanted this is it gives me 25% chance to impale enemies on hit, which means that I'm at 100% impale now, 106% impale. That just gives you just that little bit more damage and makes you a little bit more sustainable. The only other change that I did make is I did change this Warcry Mastery zone here. I did remove Warcry Area Effect because it's just completely pointless on General's Cry in this case. And then I've got a Remove an Ailment when you Warcry. So not only do we have Corrupted Blood immunity, we've also got Remove an Ailment when we Warcry, and we're always Warcrying, which means any ailments that get inflicted on you, whether it be 1, 2, 3, or whatever, within 8 to 10 seconds, you're going to be able to remove that Warcry. Not that Warcry. You're going to be able to remove that ailment with Warcry. So Warcrying actually becomes a defensive stat as well as an offensive stat. So you'll see the new POB in the description. This will be it. Couple of things to note, as always, that combined DPS is complete bullshit. So that accounts for 4.34 attacks per second, which is not possible with General's Cry because it can only do one attack when it spawns Mirage Warriors. Instead, total full DPS is 1.98 mil. Now my optimum DPS when I have the right shield, a 2700 armor shield, and pretty much everything else, as well as my brutal, I think it's brutal restraint. It should get to about 4.5 mil DPS, and it'll do quite well. But I'm Cyrus A8ing and I'm breezing through maps and doing all the content in the game. It's just a little slower than what it was for me last league. That also being said, that my jewels are level 20 jewels, not 21s or anything like that. And there's no awakened jewels, gems in this build yet either. Configuration wise, Cyrus damage, you do accrue up to 60 rage. If you had a Bear's Guild, you get another 20 rage, which gives you more damage. Warcries, you're gonna pop about 3 Warcries every 8 to 10 seconds, so this is relevant. And all of these stats are relevant too. I find I use Blood Stance a lot, so I usually just leave it in Blood Stance. We do have, I think we have Endurance charges, but we realistically don't need to worry about that anyway. Yeah, pretty much this should all be straightforward. We do maim with our totems, we do intimidate with our Warcry, and then that's about it. Armor-wise, we've got 23,000 armor, so we get close to like 90% damage reduction, which negates the Ascendancy as well, Aspect of Carnage. So yeah, as an overall, just a really solid build like it was last league. So I'll just run us through a map, and then yeah, let's take it through a T15 map with Elemental Weakness. I'll also add this as max cap resistances, like 600 life regen per second. So you know, it does everything. Cannot be stunned because of the rage ascendancies with the Zerker. Alright. So, as you can see now, it's sort of operating more like it was last league. We'll take that, because we're using Heist to generate currency this league. So as you can see, just sort of bashes through maps. Use our Val Ancestral Warlord, or War Chief totems. And then obviously we're also running Berserk, so now we're just running around with Berserk enabled. At this point in the T15, I haven't sort of hit any sort of damage that I've taken that is worrying. And if you're worried about can I play Scourge content, yeah, you can play Scourge content. Now and again, it can get a bit choppy, but as an overall, does it well. And this also has no issues with taking down Scourge bosses either. Best part is the mobility on this build. It's all about mobility. Just a purely awesome build. Like, if you're sort of running out of ideas or you're struggling for the league, definitely switch to something like this. So now all you're going to do is just sit on the outskirts, let the shield charge warriors do their thing, drop the totems, let them jump in, do their thing. And we're completely out of harm's way the entire time. And there we go. That's simple. All contracts too. So that's pretty much my shield charge Zerker at this stage. Pretty fun build. Yeah. Description in the description be a new POB. If you've got any questions about it as to where I've gotten it so far, feel free to ask. And yeah, like and sub. And until next time, have a good one and bye.